Apple complying with China's order to remove Meta's WhatsApp and Threads from the country's app store. Meta shares dropping 4% today, while Apple fell 1%. The move coinciding with an expected U.S. vote on a bill that could ban TikTok in the U.S. if it's not divested from China's ByteDance. Let's bring in Mike Isaac, technology correspondent at the New York Times. Mike, great to have you with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You actually think the App Store is like a new proxy war location for what's going on with China and the United States. Do you think it can go further than where it's gone so far?
This is the sort of strange position that China is in here in terms of, I guess, remuneration for, the threat of taking down TikTok, which is that a lot of the apps that they took down yesterday, which includes WhatsApp and Threads, but also Signal and Telegram, were largely banned in China already. So I think, you're not exactly hurting Americans in the same way that, Americans might hurt the Chinese by cutting off a huge market for them over here. So I do wonder what their escalation would be next.
So you're not really clear on what they could do next. You don't think that there's any further clear pain? I mean, Apple is the obvious sort of pawn, or would be the obvious pawn in this tech war. Do you think that there could be repercussions for that, or could it go like Shein and Temu pulling all the ads from the U.S.?
No, you're exactly right. Like one of those, we did a story the other day on how Shein and Temu and Chinese companies in general make up about 10% of Meta's entire advertising budget over the last few quarters, I want to say. And, Meta is quick to say, hey, that's pretty diversified. It's not any one or two companies, but the Chinese government starts saying, stop spending there. That can ding Meta pretty quickly. Maybe they talk to Chinese gaming companies that are there that also spend tons of money on advertising dollars. There are indirect ways that I think this sort of proxy war could be ratcheted up. But I feel like Apple is just in a super gnarly position because they don't want to be caught in the middle of it, and their business is so reliant on China.
Hey, Mike, it's Tim, and good use of gnarly there, by the way. And I guess let's use gnarly again. I feel like in the last 3 days, this has gotten really gnarly, right? Isn't this a function of the Chinese embassy going to the Hill and lobbying on behalf of, at first, just somebody, and then it was a Chinese company, and then it's a Chinese company that really, you wouldn't be doing this to anyone else but a Chinese company. So, Apple has been able to navigate this tightrope for a long time. We've all been amazed at it. And Apple, who's pretty self-righteous about their ability to protect the consumer and rights and freedom of speech. But somehow in China, they can be a monster and be OK. And we let them, anyway, I'll leave that alone. Did it get a lot worse in the last 3 days? Is this really a function of what just happened with TikTok?
I think that is largely, the way I've been looking at this whole thing is pretty symbolic in some ways because, again, 15 million people use WhatsApp in China. The Great Firewall already doesn't let you use it unless you're using a VPN, which sort of circumvents that. So it's not, say, cutting off a huge arm for Meta, but it is saying, look, these are American popular apps in the rest of the world. We are, we, the Chinese government, are saying we don't want them here anymore. They, according to people we talked to, sort of were saying it had to do with President Xi Jinping and content that was inflammatory towards him. But you're exactly right. This has been ratcheting up in the past few days. We saw that Politico story about people on the Hill now lobbying Congress. And I'm very curious what's going to happen this weekend, basically.
Yeah. In terms of what could happen, Mike, let's say this thing does pass. Do you honestly think the Chinese government is going to allow ByteDance to sell TikTok? What is golden about TikTok is the algorithm. And do you think the Chinese government is going to let that go with the sale of TikTok? I would doubt it. Is this sort of just, what are we really arguing about here? Because if you do this, effectively, the next step is going to be TikTok pulling out of the U.S.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that, it's been interesting to see the Chinese sort of say, we would rather kill this than sell it and give the golden goose to some other company. And to some degree, that was probably brinksmanship. But at the same time, it probably would not be a huge deal if they lost, let's say tens of billions of dollars or even $100 billion, depending on how much you value the algorithm, compared to whatever untold riches or power this company could lead to in the hands of an American coalition. And there's been, sort of investor groups saying they want to try and buy it or rebuild the algorithm. I don't think it's that simple. I think it's very hard to copy what they've done over there. But I could see a real scenario where they shut it off and say, here, if you want to buy the rest of it without the algo, good luck, basically.